Hey, my name is Cameron Bolin. I'm here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I have two little boys, one of which joined us at our last live classroom. He is 6 months old. So for me, the purpose of education in and out of music, I really feel should be cultivating two things, really the excellence in music and well-rounded students, but ultimately fostering that passion and a love for music that I hope that they will continue from where they go. I teach a lot of students whose parents don't want them to pursue a music major because they feel like they've paid a lot for education, and why would they choose this profession of pursuing music performance that's really difficult or really doesn't pay a lot. And so I've had to really shift my mindset. When I grew up and I was trained as a classical pianist, I was very much in that fixed mindset, and that was really kind of put upon me that you have to study as hard as possible, practice as hard as possible, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours a day in order to make it as a musician. And then you need to continue on with that as hard and as fast as you can. And so in college, my music piano professor basically said, why would you even consider music education? Because that's for the performers who can't do it. Those are for the performance that are musicians that aren't good enough to teach. So I'm so glad that I had a music education major our professor, the head of the program, that really helped me completely shift that mindset. And I know we've all had those influential teachers in our life that then that's who we aspire to be, right? And so I went and studied abroad in Italy, and I got to teach elementary music, and it completely shifted how my relationship with repertoire and theory and history and seeing an international school setting. And so I think that now taking a lot of these doctorate classes and not only being a teacher or a musician or a performer, but now being a mom, I have really even shifted even more. How would I want my children to be educated as musicians? How do I want culturally inclusive classrooms and settings? And now that I've started teaching at a community college, a community girls choir, so it's a community girls choir at a college, it's made me completely rethink the process over the product. When you only see them once a week, you have this huge push of a product and a concert. Parents, again, are paying for the experience. But the process of teaching them how to sight read, how to look at theory, and most importantly, why was this piece written? What's the history behind it? How are we more culturally inclusive? Why is this piece really important during Women's History Month, or last month in February, studying spirituals and making sure that we don't just gloss over 2 or 3 sentences about why it's really important. Last semester's class with sociology really just made me rethink the early childhood and Piaget and Vygotsky. And I think really the one that really stuck with me was Bruner and his spiral curriculum. And so I'm trying to see if that can now push me more as an educator. And really the book that we read convicted me a lot about being aware that I'm a white female and middle class, and I teach a lot of students that are in that middle class as well. And how am I being more aware of the bias that I might bring to my classroom, to my choral setting, to my piano studio, and how can that continue to make me more self-aware, have less of a fixed mindset, and use all these applications that we started to learn. So I think kind of the last little thing is building and cultivating citizen leaders. So I think the best thing we can teach our kids in this ever-changing world, in this post-pandemic, is how to be critical thinkers and problem solvers, but most also how music can be a powerful medium. Music can be a way that we can express ourselves. Music can be a way that we can collaborate and be problem solvers and critical thinkers. And music can be a way that we can be inclusive and kind and love one another and be aware of the fact that we all come from different backgrounds and that things are going to have to look different, and that different isn't wrong. So I'm excited about this class and just continuing to learn and really kind of challenge the way that I teach after 16 years and trying to continue to be a better educator. And I'm going to start teaching my children piano lessons too. So I think that's going to be an additional way for me to really challenge myself as a teacher. And I'm excited to dig in further with this cohort.